This story is nothing new, very sadly. In fact, if you haven't been watching GB News, and I know many of you don't, then you may never have heard of it. Which is why I want to bring it to your attention. I just want people, and as many people as possible, to be aware of stories like this. Once again, this is 3 Pakistani men of Muslim origin. All the tactics are the same. All the people are the same.
A former Labour candidate is among 3 brothers who have been convicted of grooming gang offences in Sheffield.
Ammar, Kamar and Kamaran, alias, had been convicted of child sex abuse offences against 5 victims.
That's right. A northern city, Pakistani men, Muslims, 5 young white children attacked sexually by these men. Organised sex crimes against young girls. Time and time and time again.
Well, joining us now in the studio to tell us more about this is GB News national reporter Charlie Peters. Charlie, tell us what on earth has been going on here.
Well, we've waited a long time to talk about this case because Ammar Ilyas, his trial opened last year in September, but he fled while on court bail to Pakistan. We attended the first day of that trial, but there have been reporting restrictions on talking about it since his 2 brothers, Kamar and Kamran, were tried earlier this year. Now, all 3 have been found convicted of a range of crimes against 5 young victims. Ammar abusing all 5, and Kamran and Kamar also abusing the same girl who was first attacked when she was just 12 years old.
12 years old. As a country, we keep accepting this. We've got one half of the country talking about the whataboutery. What about the white men that are doing this? What about the British cultural people that are doing this? Well, let me tell you about those people, just in case you're still listening and you still believe that horse mess. Those people are very quickly investigated, and when they are, it is not denied they did it based on their cultural preferences, religious preferences, and of course where they come from in the world. So those people are very likely to be convicted, which is why there is no need to talk about it, particularly on this channel, because it's being dealt with by the powers that be. One of the few things that is. But of course, Amir here, who was responsible alongside his brothers, was the main linchpin of this particular grooming gang. I'm using my words carefully because I'm on YouTube, by the way, in case you're in the comments saying, why don't you say X and why don't you say Y? Well, that's because I want you to be able to hear this, and you won't be able to hear and see this if I start using non-YouTube preferenced language.
Ammar was described by his nickname Killer in the court. It's a name he used to coerce his young victims. He also threatened them and showed an imitation firearm, one of the 21 offences that he was convicted of, having an imitation firearm with intent to intimidate. So these men carried out a campaign of abuse now 20 years ago in Sheffield. But
imitation guns, intimidation, campaigns of hate against young white girls, and almost as importantly, 20 years ago, in the early 2000s, these crimes were being carried out. Need I say more? 20 years ago. Those victims now, if they're lucky, are still alive and are adults that lives have been totally and utterly destroyed by these men. And these men have been able to get away with it because people deny that they would do it because it's convenient to them to protect the mainstream narrative, which is that diversity is our strength and multiculturalism is king. Both of those things mean we have to turn a blind eye where there are differences in behaviours across cultures, ethnicities and races. We have to turn a blind eye, because if you don't turn a blind eye, the community cohesion will fail. Well, what would you rather have? Failed community cohesion or young white girls being raped systematically on an industrial scale.
But yesterday, justice was finally delivered. We heard in Sheffield Crown Court from victim impact statements, one victim saying that she had finally been heard, another saying thank you to Ammar Ilyas. Thank you for having a smug face when you walked around thinking you were free. Thank you for driving past my house trying to intimidate me, saying it only encouraged her to have the strength to keep going. They spoke about how much they endured going through this delayed court process and the efforts these brothers made to ensure that they tried to escape justice.
Well, a couple of things there. They did, to some degree, escape justice, didn't they? This happened 20 years ago. Now, of course, thankfully, thank God that they have been arrested, convicted and jailed now. We'll get back to that in a minute, because only 2 of them have successfully been jailed. But wasn't it quite lovely to hear one of the victims, one of the survivors here, look her rapist in the face and say thank you? Thank you for trying to intimidate me. Thank you for trying to avoid justice. Thank you. I get to look at you now and you have to admit what you did.
Well, what we can bring you today also is that Ammar Ilyas has avoided some justice because he fled to Pakistan. I have more details behind this case for you now.
Known as killer to his victims, Ammar Ilyas used a gun and threats of gang rape to coerce young girls into abuse. Ilyas was meant to be jailed today alongside his younger brothers Kamran and Kamar, but Ammar absconded before his trial.
They say never judge a book by its cover. But if the cover of the book looks like those 3, you can pretty much guess exactly what they are being convicted of.
He is believed to be in Pakistan. Ammar was found guilty of 20 offences against 5 victims. His brothers were found guilty of 5 sexual offences against one of the girls, who was just 12 years old when Kamar met her. But GB News can reveal today that after his grooming gang offending, Ammar became a Labour Party candidate and a youth worker.
Of course. There it is, isn't it? A Labour Party candidate and a youth worker. Both synonymous with paedophilia. Access to children. That's exactly why these people do those particular jobs. You can sit there and say you know a million candidates that would never do anything like that. So do I. I know MPs, I know sitting MPs, I know councillors across the parties that are doing fabulous work. My point is not that. My point is that if you want to get access to children, why not join the Labour Party, because they're the kind party. If you want to get access to children, why not become a community youth leader, because that is how you do it and that is how they think. He has escaped back to Pakistan. He sits there currently. He has been sentenced in his absence. Those women didn't actually get the opportunity to say that to him directly. They may never do, because we don't seem to have any control over Pakistan in the same way, interestingly, they seem to have over us. Huge swathes of metropolitan cities like Birmingham in this country seem to have their entire politics led by what people in Pakistan may or may not need. Well, to how you are, how about you can never stand in a position of power from that country, certainly not in both countries, if we still have you harbouring these criminals. It's just a no. I don't care if you're elected, you've got to go. Sort out your own business, then you can come and help us with ours if we say so. This has got to the point of self-harm, way beyond self-harm. We're trying to destroy ourselves and we're allowing it to happen through some sort of misplaced kindness. Diversity is not our strength. By its very description, diversity is diluting strength. When you take a cordial of an orange juice and you add water, that diversity is weakening that orange juice. That is what's happening in simple terms. We have a terrible state of affairs, and we do not have anyone in power that wants to do anything about it.
In 2019, Ammar Ilyas, working as a taxi driver, was stabbed in the head by a drug dealer who was later jailed for the attack. The stabbing was part of a spate of violence that erupted in Sheffield, which included a shotgun being fired at the home of a local politician. Ilyas was supported by activists from the Corbyn-backing Momentum group after his stabbing. They described him as a wonderful comrade in a fundraiser.
Wow, we completed that bingo card very quickly, didn't we? Youth leader, Labour Party, Corbyn, Momentum, patting him on the back, comrade, what a guy!
The taxi driver was working as an anti-knife crime campaigner for the charity Mums United. There is no suggestion that Mums United nor the Labour Party were aware of Ammar's crimes.
Or any suggestion that they had the inclination, any of them, to check to see. They never will they? Because they're presented with a Pakistani Muslim and they do not want to check and they do not want to see. Racism, bigotry, people will shout, and you will cower into a corner. You may even lose your job. You could be alienated from your friendship group and your life could be over. Yet, great swathes of the socialist left-leaning population will feel incredibly smug and happy with that as the outcome, because it's much better to do that than it is to stop them doing what they want to do. Note, it was a charity. He was a cab worker. These are all other jobs and things that enable people to get close to children, and when they get close to those children, it's something to stand behind. I work for a mum's charity. I work for a Knives Down charity. Course you do, buddy. Course you do, mate. But what about all the graping? Well, I think we'll leave it there, if only to prevent my blood pressure going through the roof on what can only be described as an absolutely ridiculous scorchio here in England today. But if you like this sort of stuff, maybe if you like me, then please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join me on a journey of discovery. Thank you ever so much, and see you next time. Keep it real.